How are you guys doing? Today is Sunday, June 13th, 2021, out here in this quarantine. I'm James Sims, and for this episode of The Elite, I'm going to review the Elite matchups from yesterday, Saturday, June 12th, 2021. And just to get started, I'm going to go to the NBA, where there was only one playoff game yesterday, and it took place in the Staples Center in Los Angeles. In that matchup, the fourth seed in the Western Conference, Los Angeles Clippers, hosted the first seed Utah Jazz. And in this matchup, the fourth seed Los Angeles Clippers would beat the Jazz 132-106. The big difference would be the second and fourth quarters. The Clippers outscored Utah by 11 in the second, and they outscored the Jazz by 15 in the fourth. For the Utah Jazz, in this matchup, their leading scorer was their elite starting shooting guard, Donovan Mitchell. He finished with 30 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2 steals in 32 minutes. He shot 11 for 24 from the field, 5 for 9 from 3, and 3 for 5 from the foul line on the night. Their elite starting center, Rudy Gobert, would finish with 12 points and 10 rebounds in 30 minutes, as he shot 4 for 7 from the field and a perfect 4 for 4 from the foul line. For the Los Angeles Clippers, their leading scorer was their goated starting small forward, Kawhi Leonard. The two-time NBA Finals MVP would finish with 34 points, 12 rebounds, 5 assists, and 2 steals in 38 minutes. He would shoot 14 for 24 from the field, 1 for 6 from 3, and a perfect 5 for 5 from the foul line. Alongside him, their elite starting shooting guard, Paul George, would finish with 31 points, 3 rebounds, and 5 assists in 38 minutes. He shot 12 for 24 from the field, 6 for 10 from 3, and 1 for 2 from the foul line on the night. With this win, the Los Angeles Clippers have won their first game of the series, and the Jazz still lead this series 2-1. Game 4 will be played in the same place in the Staples Center, as the Clippers look to even up the series, and the Jazz look to be one game away from the NBA Finals. So right now, that is what the NBA is looking like following that only game yesterday, and just transitioning through hockey, because considering the very first game of the Stanley Cup semifinals between the Tampa Bay Lightning and the New York Islanders happens today. So of course that's what's going on. Taking a look at what's going on the Diamond, starting off in DC with the first doubleheader of the day. The Washington Nationals hosted the San Francisco Giants. In the very first matchup, the Nationals would beat the Giants 2-0 as they won this game in 7 innings. For the San Francisco Giants in this matchup, the start and the loss went to Kevin Gausman. He allowed 2 earned runs in 4 innings pitched as he struck out 4. With this loss, Kevin Gausman is now 7-1 on the season. That's his first loss of the season, like I just said. Nobody on the team was able to register a hit in this game. But looking at how the Nationals fared, the start would go to Eric Fedde. He allowed no earned runs in 5 innings pitched as he struck out 7 batters. With this win, he is now 4-4. The save went to their relief pitcher, Brad Hand, who allowed no earned runs in 1 inning pitch as he struck out 2. This is his 11th save of the season. In their batting lineup, their shortstop, Trey Turner, would be the only player in the entire game with more than 1 hit as he went 2 for 3. And carrying on after this game, and also in this game, Kyle Schwarber hit his 10th home run of the season. But in the second matchup, the San Francisco Giants would even it up after beating the Nationals 2-1. All of the runs scored in the 8th inning. But looking at how the Nationals fared, the start would end up going to Jeffrey Rodriguez. Rodriguez would allow no earned runs in 4 innings pitched as he struck out 2. The loss, however, would go to the Washington Nationals' 4th relief pitcher, Kyle Finnegan. Finnegan would allow 1 earned run in 0.1 inning pitched as he was unable to strike out a batter. With this loss, Finnegan is now 2-2. For the Nationals, nobody in this game was able to log more than 1 hit on the day. And then for San Francisco, the start would end up going to their starting pitcher, Connor Menez. Connor Menez would end up allowing no earned runs in 2 innings pitched as he struck out 1. The win would actually go to the Giants closer, Jake McGee. He would allow no earned runs in 1 inning pitched as he struck out all 3 of the players that he faced. With this win, Jake McGee is 2-2 as a relief pitcher, and the save went to their closer for the night, who just happened to be Caleb Barriger. Barriger would allow no earned runs in 1 inning pitched. This is his first save of the year. In their batting lineup, no one would register more than 1 hit. But regardless, with this win, with this split series, the San Francisco Giants are now 40-24, And with a win and a loss, the Washington Nationals are now 26-35. Jumping out to Philadelphia, the Philadelphia Phillies hosted the New York Yankees, and they were able to pull off a 8-7 win in extra innings in the 10th inning, thanks to a RBI single from Gene Segura to give him the lead after the Yankees tied it up. For the Yankees in this matchup, the start would end up going to Jameson Taillon. He would only get through he would pitch 0.1 inning as he allowed 4 earned runs in the first inning. He would eventually get subbed out. The loss for the Yankees would go to Aroldis Chapman, though. He allowed no earned runs in 0.1 inning pitch as he gave up the walk-off RBI single. With this loss, Aroldis Chapman is now 4-2 as a relief pitcher this season. In their batting lineup, their elite first baseman DJ LeMahieu would go 2 for 5 with 3 RBIs and a run. He hit his 4th home run of the season yesterday. Their catcher Gary Sanchez would go 2 for 5 with 2 RBIs and a run. Their second baseman Rougned Odor would go 2 for 5 with 2 RBIs and a run, or with 2 for 3 with an RBI and a run. Their center fielder Brett Gardner would go 2 for 2 with an RBI and a run for himself. And not to mention, Gary Sanchez hit his 8th home run. Rougned Odor hit his 6th. And for the Philadelphia Phillies in this matchup, the start went to Vince Velasquez. He allowed 2 earned runs in 5 innings pitched as he struck out 5. The win will go to their closer, Archie Bradley. Archie Bradley would allow no earned runs in the 1 inning that he pitched as he struck out 2. With this win, Bradley is now 2-1 as a relief pitcher. In their batting lineup, their center fielder, Odubel Herrera, will go 2 for 6 with 2 runs. Their second baseman, Gene Segura, will go 3 for 6 with 2 RBIs and a run. Their elite right fielder, Bryce Harper, will go 3 for 5 with 2 RBIs and a run for himself. Their third baseman, Alec Bohm, will go 2 for 5 with 2 RBIs. And then their shortstop, Ronald Torres, would end up going 2 for 5 with an RBI and a run. With this win, the Philadelphia Phillies are now 31-31. With this loss, the New York Yankees are now 33-31. Jumping up to the Bay, the Oakland Athletics hosted the Kansas City Royals, and they were able to pull off an 11-2 win at home. For the Royals in this loss, the start would end up going to their starting pitch. The start in the loss went to Jackson Kowar. He would allow 4 earned runs in 1.1 inning pitch as he struck out 1. With this loss, Kowar is 0-2 as a starting pitcher for Kansas City. In their batting lineup, their third baseman, who ended up being Kelvin Gutierrez, would go 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs and a run. He hit his very first home run of the season for Kansas City yesterday, and that was he brought home both the RBIs for the Royals yesterday. For the Oakland Athletics, the start went to James Kaprielian, and the win. He allowed no earned runs in 6 innings pitched as he struck out 7. With this win, he is now 3-1 as a starting pitcher for the A's this year. In their batting lineup, their second baseman, Tony Kemp, will go 2 for 4 with 3 runs. Their elite third baseman, Matt Chapman, will go 3 for 5 with 3 RBIs and 3 runs as he hit his 6th home run of the season yesterday. Their first baseman, Matt Olson, will go 4 for 5 with 4 RBIs and a run as he hit his 16th home run of the season. And then their shortstop, Elvis Andrus, would end up going 2 for 5 with an RBI and a run for himself. With this win, the Oakland Athletics are now 39-27. And with this loss, the Kansas City Royals are now 30-33. Jumping out to Phoenix, the Arizona Diamondbacks hosted the Los Angeles Angels. The Angels were able to beat the Diamondbacks 8-7. After the Diamondbacks scored the first 5 runs of the game, the Angels came back from behind and beat them, especially scoring not 3 of their runs in the 9th inning in order to come from behind and pass them. For the Diamondbacks in this matchup, the start would end up going to Caleb Smith. Caleb Smith would allow 4 earned runs in 4.1 innings pitched as he struck out 6. The loss would go to the Diamondbacks relief pitcher, Joakim Soria, as he would allow 3 earned runs in 1 inning pitched. He would blow his first save of the season, and with this loss, Soria is 0-3 on the year. In their batting lineup, their second baseman, Josh Rojas, would go 2 for 5 with 2 RBIs and 2 runs as he hit his 8th and 9th home runs of the season. Their first baseman, Christian Walker, would end up going 2 for 4 with an RBI and a run for himself. And then last but not least, their catcher, Stephen Vogt, would end up going 2 for 4 with a run on the day. For the Los Angeles Angels, the start would end up going to, of course, to the Angels starting pitcher, Alex Cobb. He would allow 5 earned runs in 3 innings pitched as he struck out 3. The win will go to the Angels' second relief pitcher, who in this matchup was Alex Claudio. He would allow no earned runs in 1 inning pitched. With this win, Claudio is now 1-1 as a relief pitcher. The save will go to Raisel Iglesias. Iglesias would allow 1 earned run and 1 inning pitch as he struck out 2. This is his 11th save of the year. In their batting lineup, their catcher Max Stassi will go 2 for 5 with 2 runs. Their elite third baseman Anthony Rendon will go 2 for 3 with 4 RBIs and a run as he hit his 4th home run of the year. Their shortstop Jose Iglesias would end up going 2 for 5 with an RBI and a run as well. And then their right fielder, Taylor Ward, would end up going 2 for 5 with an RBI and a run. With this win, the Los Angeles Angels are 32-32. With this loss, the Arizona Diamondbacks are now 20-45. Jumping up to Cincinnati, the Cincinnati Reds hosted the Colorado Rockies and were able to pull off a 10-3 win at home as the Rockies were actually leading in the second inning, 3-2 at one point. The Reds would score 8 unanswered after the second inning. For the Colorado Rockies in this matchup, the start went to German Marquez. Marquez allowed 8 earned runs in 5 innings pitched as he struck out 5. With this loss, Marquez is now 4-6 on the year. In their batting lineup, their right fielder, Jonathan Daza, would end up going 2 for 4 with a run on the day. For the Cincinnati Reds, the start and the win went to Wade Miley. He allowed 2 earned runs in 7 innings pitched as he struck out 3. With this win, Wade Miley is now 6-4 as a starting pitcher for Cincinnati. Their right fielder, Nick Castellanos, would go 2 for 5 with an RBI and 2 runs for himself. Their center fielder, Tyler Naquin, would go 3 for 5 with 2 RBIs and a run. Their future Hall of Fame first baseman, Joey Votto, would go 2 for 5 with 2 RBIs and a run. Or their elite third baseman, Eugenio Suarez, would go 2 for 3 with an RBI and a run. And last but not least, their pitcher, Wade Miley, would go 2 for 2 with a run as a hitter. With this win, the Cincinnati Reds are now 31-31. With this loss, the Colorado Rockies are now 25-40. Jumping out to New York, the New York Mets hosted the San Diego Padres and were able to pull up a 4-1 win at home. For the San Diego Padres in this matchup, the start and the loss went to Joe Musgrove. He allowed 3 earned runs in 6.1 innings pitched. He would strike out 7 on the day, and with this loss, he is now 4-6. In their batting lineup, their left fielder, Tommy Pham, was the only player with more than 1 hit as he went 3 for 4 for the day. And then their elite shortstop, Fernando Tatis Jr., would go 1 for 4 with an RBI and a run as he hit his 18th home run of the season. He would have the only RBI for San Diego. And then for the Mets in this matchup, the start and the win went to their Duke grad, of course, alma mater, Marcus Stroman. Stroman would allow 1 earned run in 6.1 innings pitched as he struck out 8. With this win, Stroman is now 6-4 as a starting pitcher on the season. And the save would end up going to Edwin Diaz, who allowed no earned runs in the 1 inning that he pitched as he struck out 1. That's his 12th save of the year. In their batting lineup, no one would finish with more than 1 hit. But at the same time, their elite shortstop, Francisco Lindor, would go 1 for 3 with 2 RBIs and 2 runs. Lindor hit his 6th home run of the season. With this win, the New York Mets are now 32-24, and with this loss, the San Diego Padres are now 37-29. Jumping out to Cleveland, the Cleveland Indians hosted the Seattle Mariners and were able to pull off a 5-4 win after scoring all 5 of their runs after the 7th inning, after the Mariners were already up 4-0. So it would end up being a Rene Rivera double to tie it up to send it into extra innings, but then Harold Ramirez would reach on a fielder's choice. But the Indians would pick up their 34th win of the year. For the Seattle Mariners in this matchup, the start would go to Yusei Kikuchi. He allowed no earned runs in 7 innings pitched as he struck out 6 on the day. The loss, however, would go to the third relief pitcher, Paul Sewald. He would allow a run without registering an out, and with his loss, he is now 2-2 as a relief pitcher. In their batting lineup, their designated hitter, Ty France, went 2 for 5 with a run, and then their second baseman, Dylan Moore, would end up going 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs and a run as Moore hit his 6th home run of the season. For the Cleveland Indians, the start went to Tristan McKenzie. He allowed 1 earned run in .2 innings pitched as he was unable to strike out a batter. The win would go to Cleveland's relief pitcher, James Karinchak. He allowed no earned runs in 1 inning pitch as he struck out 2. With this win, James Karinchak is now 3-2 as a relief pitcher this season. In their batting lineup, their shortstop, Ahmed Rosario, would go 2 for 5, and the only other player with more than 1 hit in the lineup was their center fielder, Harold Ramirez. He went 2 for 5 on the day, and with this win, the Cleveland Indians are now 34-27. With this loss, the Seattle Mariners are now 31-35. Jumping out to Tampa Bay, the Tampa Bay Rays hosted the Baltimore Orioles and were able to pull up a 5-4 home win as they scored all 5 of their runs in the first 4 innings. Baltimore would score all 4 of their runs in the 5th inning. It wouldn't be enough, and after that, there'd be no scoring. For the Baltimore Orioles in this matchup, the start and the loss would end up going to Jorge Lopez. Lopez would allow 5 earned runs in 4.2 innings pitched as he struck out 8. With this loss, Jorge Lopez is now 2-7 on the season. Their center fielder, Cedric Mullins, would go 2 for 4, and then their shortstop, Freddie Galvis, would go 2 for 4 with a run. For the Tampa Bay Rays in this matchup, the start would end up going to Rich Hill. Hill would allow 4 earned runs in 4.2 innings pitched as he struck out 5. The win would go to the Rays' second relief pitcher, Colin McHugh. Colin McHugh would allow no earned runs in 2 innings pitched as he struck out 5 of the 6 batters he was supposed to get out. With this win, McHugh is 1-1, and the save went to Diego Castillo. Diego Castillo would go on to allow no earned runs in the 1 inning that he pitched. This is 11th save of the season. In their batting lineup, their second baseman Brandon Lau will go 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs and a run. Their third baseman, Joey Wendell, went 2 for 4 with an RBI and a run. And then their center fielder, Kevin Kiermaier, went 3 for 4 with an RBI. With this win, the Tampa Bay Rays are now 41-24. They're the first team to 41 wins. And with this loss, the Baltimore Orioles are 22-41. Jumping out to Fenway, the Boston Red Sox hosted the Toronto Blue Jays, and the Blue Jays were able to beat the Red Sox 32-30. The Blue Jays were able to beat the Red Sox 7-2. I'm looking at their record. As the Blue Jays would score 6 runs in the first 5 innings of the game. For the Red Sox, the start and the loss would go to Nick Pivetta. Nick Pivetta will go on to allow 6 earned runs in 5 innings pitched as he struck out 6. With this loss, Nick Pivetta is 6-2 after picking up his second loss of the year. In their batting lineup, their third baseman, Rafael Devers, would go 2 for 4 with a run as he was the only Red Sox player with more than 1 hit. For the Toronto Blue Jays, the start and the win went to Steven Matz. He allowed 1 earned run in 5.2 innings pitched as he struck out 8. With this win, Steven Matz is now 7-3 as a starting pitcher for the Blue Jays. In their batting lineup, their shortstop, Bo Bichette, will go 2 for 5 with an RBI and 2 runs. Bo Bichette hit his 12th home run of the season yesterday. Their elite first baseman, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., would go 1 for 2 with 2 RBIs and a run as he also walked twice. Guerrero would hit his 20th home run of the season. I believe he's the first player in the MLB to do so. And then their right fielder, Cavan Biggio, will go 3 for 4 with an RBI and a run for himself. That was his 4th home run of the season. With this win, the Toronto Blue Jays are now 32-30, and with this loss, the Boston Red Sox are now 39-26. Jumping on to Detroit, the Detroit Tigers hosted the Chicago White Sox, and the White Sox were able to beat the Tigers 15-2 as they scored 3 runs in the first, 5 in the second, and then 5 in the 5th, as well as 2 in the 8th. Regardless, they only scored in 4 innings to get 15 runs. For the Tigers in this matchup, the start and the loss would go to Jose Urena. Urena would allow 7 earned runs in 1.2 innings pitched as he struck out 1 batter on the day. With this loss, Urena is now 2-6 as a starting pitcher on the season. In their batting lineup, their left fielder, Robbie Grossman, would end up going 2 for 3 with a run on the day. And for the Chicago White Sox, the start and the win went to Dylan Cease. He allowed 2 earned runs in 5 innings pitched as he struck out 7. With this win, Dylan Cease is now 5-2 as a starting pitcher for the White Sox. In their batting lineup, their elite shortstop, Tim Anderson, would end up going 3 for 5 with 2 RBIs and 3 runs. Their center fielder, who in this matchup happened to be Brian Goodwin, he would go 2 for 5 with 5 RBIs and 3 runs as he hit his first home run of the season yesterday. Their designated hitter, Yermy Mercedes, went 2 for 6 with 3 RBIs and a run. And then their third baseman, Luis Garcia, would end up going 2 for 3. This was Lurie Garcia, would go 2 for 3 with 3 RBIs and 2 runs. With this win, the Chicago White Sox are now 40-24, and with this loss, the Detroit Tigers are now 26-38 at this very moment. Jumping out to Miami, the Miami Marlins hosted the Atlanta Braves, and the Miami Marlins were able to pull off a 4-2 home win. For the Atlanta Braves, the start and the loss went to Max Fried. He allowed 3 earned runs in 6 innings pitched as he struck out 4. With this loss, Max Fried is now 3-4 as a starting pitcher on the season. In their batting lineup, their elite first baseman, Freddie Freeman, would go 3 for 4 with 2 RBIs and a run as he hit his 15th home run of the season. Their left fielder, Abraham Almonte would end up going 2 for 3 as well. For the Miami Marlins, the start and the win would end up going to their starting pitcher, Zach Thompson. Thompson would allow no earned runs in 5 innings pitched as he struck out 6. And the win would go to their closer for the day, Dylan Floro. Floro allowed no earned runs in 1 inning pitched as he was unable to strike out a batter. Nonetheless, he picked up his second save of the year. In the batting lineup, nobody on the Marlins would finish with more than 1 hit, but Adam Duvall, the former Atlanta Brave, their right fielder, would go 1 for 4 with an RBI and a run as he hit his 12th home run of the season yesterday. With this win, the Miami Marlins are now 29-35, and with this loss, the Atlanta Braves are now 29-33. Jumping out to Milwaukee, the Milwaukee Brewers hosted the Pittsburgh Pirates and were able to pull off a 7-4 win after the Pirates scored the first 4 runs of the game. The Brewers would eventually come back, finishing it off with a 5-run 4th inning flurry of scoring. After that, no one scored. For the Pittsburgh Pirates in this matchup, the start and the loss would end up going to Chad Kuhl. Chad Kuhl would allow 5 earned runs in 3.1 innings pitched as he struck out 2. With this loss, Chad Kuhl is 0-4 as a starting pitcher this season. In their batting lineup, their second baseman, Adam Frazier, will go 3 for 5 with a run. And then their center fielder, Brian Reynolds, will go 2 for 3 with an RBI and a run. For the Milwaukee Brewers, the start would go to Corbin Burns. He allowed 3 earned runs in 4 innings pitched as he struck out 8. The win would go to their first relief pitcher, Trevor Richards, and he would allow no earned runs in 2 innings pitched as he struck out 4. With this win, Richards is 1-0 as a relief pitcher, and the save will go to their elite closer, Josh Hader. He allowed no earned runs in 1 inning pitched. This is his 16th save of the season. With this win, the Milwaukee Brewers are now 37-27. With this loss, the Pittsburgh Pirates are now 23-40. Jumping out to Chicago, the Chicago Cubs hosted the St. Louis Cardinals in a rivalry, and the Cubs were able to win this game 7-2 after scoring 5 of their runs in the second inning. For the St. Louis Cardinals in this matchup, the start and the loss would go to John Gant. Gant allowed 5 earned runs in 1.2 innings pitched as he struck out a batter. With this loss, John Gant is 4-4 on the season as a starter. Nobody on the team would register more than 1 hit, and that could be attributed to great pitching. But before I move on, their elite third baseman, Nolan Arenado, will go 1 for 3 with an RBI and a run. Arenado hit his 12th home run of the season yesterday. For the Chicago Cubs, the start and the win would go to Kyle Hendricks. He allowed 2 earned runs in 6 innings pitched as he struck out 2. With this win, Kyle Hendricks is now 8-4, and the save will go to Craig Kimbrell, who allowed no earned runs, only pitching 0.1 inning, and this is his 17th save of the season. In their batting lineup, nobody on the team would finish with more than 1 hit, as Jock Peterson, their left fielder, would go 1 for 4 with an RBI and a run. He hit his 9th home run of the year. With this win, the Chicago Cubs are now 37-27, and with this loss, the St. Louis Cardinals are now 32-32. Jumping out to Minneapolis, the Minnesota Twins hosted the Houston Astros and were able to pull off a 5-2 win, scoring 3 of their runs in the 5th inning. For the Houston Astros, the start and the loss would end up going to Luis Garcia. Luis Garcia would allow 3 earned runs in 4.1 innings pitched as he struck out 4. With this loss, Luis Garcia is now 5-4 as a starting pitcher for Houston. And in their batting lineup, their shortstop, who in this matchup happened to be Robel Garcia, went 2 for 3 with an RBI and a run. And then Chas McCormick, the Astros center fielder, would go 2 for 3 on the day. For the Minnesota Twins, the start and the win went to Jose Barrios. He allowed 2 earned runs in 7 innings pitched as he struck out 8. With this win, Barrios is now 7-2 as a starting pitcher, and the save would end up going to Taylor Rogers. Rogers would allow no earned runs in 1 inning pitch as he struck out 2. This is his 6th save of the season. In their batting lineup, the only player with more than 1 hit was their second baseman, Jorge Polanco. He went 3 for 4 with 3 RBIs and a run as he hit his 9th home run of the season. With this win, the Minnesota Twins are now 26-38, and with this loss, the Houston Astros are now 36-28. Last but not least, taking you to Los Angeles. The Los Angeles Dodgers, the defending World Series champs, hosted the Texas Rangers, and the Rangers would end up beating the Dodgers 12-1, scoring 8 runs in the final 3 innings. For the Los Angeles Dodgers, the start and the loss went to their elite starting pitcher, reigning National League Cy Young winner Trevor Bauer. Trevor Bauer would allow 6 runs in 6.1 innings pitched as he struck out 8. With this loss, Trevor Bauer is now 6-5 as a starter. In their batting lineup, the only player with more than 1 hit for LA was their third baseman, Justin Turner, who went 2 for 4. For the Texas Rangers, the start and the win went to Colby Allard. He allowed no earned runs in 5 innings pitched as he struck out 4. With this win, he is now 2-2. In their batting lineup, their shortstop, Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, will go 3 for 5 with an RBI and 2 runs. And then at the end, addition to that, their center fielder Adolis Garcia would end up going 2 for 5 with 2 RBIs. Their right fielder Joey Gallo would go 2 for 3 with 2 runs. Their first baseman Nate Lowe would end up going 3 for 5 with 3 RBIs and a run, as Nate Lowe would hit his 9th home run of the season. And then last but not least, the catcher for the Rangers, Jonah Heim, would end up going 3 for 5 with 2 RBIs and 2 runs. Heim hit his 3rd home run of the season. With this win, the Texas Rangers are now 25-40, and with this loss, the Los Angeles Dodgers are now 38-26. Looking really quickly at what's going on in the European Championship, Wales was able to draw with Switzerland 1-1, so of course that's how that's looking on the table. Denmark hosted Finland, and after Christian Eriksen passed out, Finland would end up beating Denmark 1-0, and then Belgium hosted Russia and was able to pick up a 3-0 win with a brace coming from their elite striker, who also happens to play for Inter Milan, Romelu Lukaku. But right now, that is what the world of sports is looking like today on Sunday, June 13th, 2021. I want to thank ESPN. I want to thank MLB.com. I want to thank NBA.com for helping me find the stats, because of course without them I wouldn't be able to do the show. I want to thank everyone for listening to this piece, and once all of today's episodes are done, I will come back tomorrow with another episode of The Elite. But with that said, I want to thank everyone for listening to my piece. I hope all is well, and I'll catch you tomorrow. Peace out.